What's up, everybody? We back with another episode of Cree Education. I'm your host, Steph Weezy.
I'm your boy, Dede.
And you know how I do. I'm supposed to be that El Plaga, but it don't really matter what I do.
Don't matter at all, man. We getting straight into it. Topic today is we talking about real estate. This is part 2. I know y'all heard us a little bit on part 1 talking about the basics, and I just want to dive back into it because real estate is so many words out there, so many things, but like the basics of real estate, you know, a lot of these words are thrown out there, such as like a mortgage, equity, you know, tenants, landlords, down payment, and I want to touch into that. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that, and and what I know so far, like these words been coming up lately is like I just learned equity, and I know that's like something that everybody should know when it comes to real estate, but we don't know.
Yeah, it's not something that we're taught often.
Yeah, we're not taught, and I might be wrong though, because I had just recently learned this. It's about equity. Like, say for example, you have a mortgage, right, of a $200,000 house, and say it's 150. The house is worth 150, and the price goes up.
Why did it go up?
That's what I'm saying.
What'd you do to the house? You had to do something to the house to make it go up.
Maybe I'm gonna say
Did you redo the
value.
bathroom?
I want to say the area say the prices alone just go up. For say there's a building, what's it called, like a complex built in that area, which makes the property value go up.
Okay.
And now this house is worth $200,000.
Okay.
So technically, from my understanding, you have $50,000 in equity if that house is now worth $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically just subtract what you paid to what the value is now.
Right.
Dede, you're absolutely correct. There is a way to increase equity with actions that you produce, such as home and remodel improvements. Okay. But then there's also things that increase the value, such as demand from the outside. And I went through the list in part 1 about all those different variables that you can look at. But now we're going to get into some of the strategies and everything that go along with real estate and how you look at housing. And so the thing that made Steph Weezy's house go up was model and development on the exterior. What is the city doing? Mm-hmm. What is is there a new corporation being built or a new company being built that's creating a higher demand or a higher pull of population to that business? Whenever there's a higher increase in population, there's an increase in housing demand.
Amazon, prime example.
Absolutely. And Amazon came into town, and now people want to live closer to the factory. Well, that being said, those house prices are going to go up because the demand is closer, because people don't want to drive forever to work. Right. They'd rather drive down the block than several miles out of the way. Those variables are huge. That's why there's an old saying in real estate: location, location, location. But the tricky shit about that is, where do you know the location? How do you know the location is the right location?
Right. You have to pay attention to, is it like certain things that happen, like the city development, like they have the light rail, for example. Like now that's really convenient for you to get all the way from this place, which there's a light rail stop right in front of your house now that could take you right downtown in less than 7 minutes. That's a huge factor too.
That is a wonderful factor when you're talking about transit. But let's look at the con of that situation. Do you want to live near a railroad?
The doom, 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 doom every day.
Research has proven that people who live closer to railroads have a lower life expectancy.
Damn.
Next to railroads? Wow, I didn't know that.
The closer the proximity to a railroad. And there's studies that have been done with the vibrations and everything with the tracks and so on and so forth. Because back in the day, railroads were more prevalent. But now we're talking about a light rail. That's going to be going 24/7. That's going to be going all the time. So there are pros and cons. I'd rather be at least a mile away from the light rail, right? Then I can go catch that to take me miles into the road where I don't have to worry about parking. See, there's different dynamics that you look at when you look at aspects of real estate.
So I know you've been into real estate a long time. What are things you look into?
Well, you know, what I really want to do is help the basic individual who really doesn't have, you don't need to have in-depth knowledge in real estate to get in this game. The one thing you need to know is who you call. Who are the individuals and the professionals that you call when you're first getting into the game, you got to learn from people who already played the game. So the best way to do that is to reach out to individuals who do this for a living.
Yeah, true.
We have, in the thing that I don't talk about, we have a real estate group that we're deeply enthralled with, that we created. We created our own. And that's through years and years of going through the trials and tribulations of understanding how the ebbs and flows of the market are.
So what does that value? What's the value of having a group as opposed to like, this is my property or that's your property? How does that help each other?
I like that you said that. Let me give you an analogy. Out here, when you go get licenses, the reason why, and this is my opinion, but my opinion hopefully will make sense at the end. It's called wolf to sheep. When you go get a license, you are a wolf because you're studying and becoming a professional in that trade. So you can go get your general contractor's license. You can go get your real estate license. You can be a licensed lawyer or a licensed physician. You have to have a license because the sheep are the individuals that you serve who don't have these licenses.
Right.
So whenever there's a wolf to sheep transaction, there needs to be a license in between that. That's why the state comes in and come down. They come hard. They do what they do. They, sign fines and sanctions or whatever, because you're not treating your license with respect. They're protecting the consumer. But when you do a wolf to wolf transaction, this is a gem for y'all listening out there. Most of the time, you don't need that license. Now it's up to that wolf on the other end of the deal to see if your qualifications meet standard, if you have enough experience, what have you, it doesn't matter. But for the most part, you need a license with a wolf to sheep transaction. So we get a license in real estate when we're dealing with individuals and consumers that have to do with them looking for the right type of housing for them to live in. How do you get the right type of lending? There's another lending transaction in that. And so the realtor becomes kind of that middleman or that hub position for all the different variables of that transaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
100.
So with the lending, can you just get like, what is lending? Where how do you get lended to or funding or how do you get your loan?
So you will definitely connect with someone. A lender is going to be, you're going to get pre-qualified. It's a thing called pre-qualified. That lender is going to use a process where they evaluate your pay stubs, your income, however you derive your cash. And they're going to put that into a little formula that tells them how much house can you afford and how much monthly payment can you afford. So you don't want to be out here doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
So the first thing I tell people is go and check out your pre-approval with a lender first before we even start talking about houses. Because if you don't, you may go buy a car, you may go buy something, and now that payment just drop down your ability to get your house. Now you might be able to still afford that house payment, but on paper, your credit score, you're fucked.
So you telling me like during this whole process of looking for a place that everything should be on standstill. Don't go and do no extra stuff.
Facts.
Go and buy you a car note, whatever
None of
the
that.
things. Just figure this out.
Because you can do all that shit after you get pre-approved and you close on your crib. You can't do nothing from the time you get pre-approval to the time that you close on your house. And for those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, when you close on the house, that's the time that you acquire the house, the keys, and then the mortgage is officially in your name or in your possession, and you're making those payments and the house is under your control. That's closing. Right? A title company gets involved, your real estate agent or your representative gets paid. All that happens at once. You get the keys and you get to go home. As soon as you get to go home and you unlock that door, man, then go crazy. Go get your whip. Right. Go get your whatever you're trying to get financed. Your people can get their furniture done. They can go get their appliances. Go ham because now your credit is freed up because you got the mortgage.
Got you. And even to take a couple steps back, I know you were saying about all the steps that they go through, the formula that they have before they tell you the house. And so prior to even looking at a house, it's like a process elimination. If you're only qualified for this, don't be out there looking for $1 million houses and spend a lot of wasted time when you can, you know your budget, and these are the houses that you're going after.
That's exactly what. I love it. I love it. That's exactly why I told you to get pre-qualified. Because that is your checkbook. That is as high as you can go. You will go no higher. If you get pre-qualified for $300,000, you better start looking for houses anywhere from 200, 250, no more than 300K.
Got you.
Because you're playing yourself. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay the extra. If you want a house for 320,
Out of pocket.
you're coming out of pocket with 20 grand liquid. And that's how you get into that house. On top of your down payment for the mortgage, on top of the fees to close and everything else that goes into that mix.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So does a house have to be in a person's name, or does it have to be in a, or where can it be, or how does that work?
So, the house has to be taken. So you're talking about title and deed. So the title and the deed can definitely, that's going to be titled into the name of the individual, however they want to title that deed. And you can title it other ways, but the majority of people do, put the deed into a name, and that usually matches the mortgage.
If it doesn't match the mortgage, say if it was in a, say if a company bought a house, and then does the company, how does that work?
Yeah. So there are C corporations that sometimes give houses to their CEO. So they will buy a house, and that can be a perk. That can be a part of C corporation, but that's getting a little bit deep.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
For the sake of the audience in part 2, because eventually we're going to walk you down there. That might be like part 8.
Yeah, that's all I was about to say. We
I was
going
like,
deep.
man, yeah, I'm just
Like companies, you know what I mean?
See, you know what happened, ladies and gentlemen? That was a Day question.
yeah, that was off the mic question.
Day's trying to figure out some moves for herself. He's like, forget the audience. I'm gonna do something for me.
Yeah, they'll catch up. They'll catch up.
They product home, huh?
It's like, ain't nobody here for this podcast, man. I'm trying to do me right now.
Oh no, man. Hey, if they say you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hey,
Come on,
man.
man.
No, it's all
That's
good.
how I learned a lot of my questions, though. I ask questions, man, try to figure it out. Like, what about this? Is it really a personal question on the low?
Absolutely. So then the next part that happens after you get pre-qualified is you get to hang out with your real estate agent. And your real estate agent, if they're good, here's the thing I tell people about when you're looking for your real estate professional. You need to interview them like they're on a job interview. Because if your personality doesn't mesh, you will get an asshole of a realtor, and you'll feel a resentment in this process, which totally ruins. See, I'm all about moods and energy.
Ooh, that's big right there, y'all.
If your energy's right, everything's going to be tight.
Yep.
And you want your energy to flow so that when you walk into these homes, you can feel whether or not you can call that place home.
Right.
And some people might say, well, that's hodgepodge. I don't know what you're talking about. No, this realtor stuff is huge, because their energy that they bring to your transaction is also them helping to maneuver right, negotiate right. That's why we take pride in what we do as a team and helping people, even in a market like this where it's just crazy bullish. And that means that the real estate prices are higher than normal. We're still making people money on their deals. Yeah, are they paying those bigger prices? But we're finding houses where they can add equity for 60 or 70,000. We're still paying the higher price, but if you can add the equity above the 30 grand, now you just made 30 grand instant equity because I showed you how to add a kitchen where you didn't know you could add a kitchen. I showed you how to add a bedroom or an egress window to that basement. Those are the little things that we do for our clients, and we take them to another level. So it's important to have a good relationship with your real estate professional, because that's going to keep a nice tight flow on the process as you look forward to more and more opportunity.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm trying to rock with the team right there, man. Because they got so much knowledge,
That's the only way to be.
Yeah, they can just like right now, Plaga, like you can go into a spot right now and just eyeball like everything. Not everything, but we can do this here, but that came from years of experience.
I don't even have to go to the crib anymore.
That's crazy. You see a picture.
See, I'm rocking with it.
I don't even need the picture. I need
square feet.
Yep.
Just, oh, wow.
Yeah, I ain't going to give you the formula, but I can look at the specs on a home on paper and know whether or not I'm going to buy that house or not. and all I need is one eyeball, somebody eyeballing it and letting me know what they see. I'm gonna ask them 3 or 4 specific questions that I like to ask, and that'll let me know what the renovation costs are gonna be too. Within maybe 20%, I may be 20% on or off, because there's some things that people can't see. You can't see what's behind walls and under dirt.
That's right.
But other than that, no, we do this.
Yeah, that's the perks, man. You gotta understand that, man. With people with that much experience in their field, you gotta know that you're going to, like, it's a no-brainer for me.
I mean, for me, it says a lot, even that you spitting some of this game and knowledge, because there's so many people that'll hear it and say, oh, that's what it takes? Oh, I'm finna go be a realtor.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
It's so many trials and errors and so many losses. Just like us with basketball, how many missed shots did we have to until we start coming pure?
For sure.
Water, it was thousands and thousands. And that's the same thing. That's their game. They got their team, their all-star team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Dennis Rodman and Jordan, everybody. It takes a team when it comes to stuff, and there's many factors that come into the properties.
Absolutely.
I know of, and people are, like I said before, the best in their position.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do this. This is what I expertise in, I don't know if that was a word, but, this is what I'm good at.
We do business with no emotion, but plenty of love. And that may not make sense because it's like, love's emotion. No. We show love in how we do business so that reputation precedes itself, and we continue to build on that. We started off as just me and wifey, so it's a husband and wife team, but now we're growing that thing.
Yeah.
Right,
and there's so many. I have 32 contractors under my belt now that can go out at any single time, and we can do, general commercial. We can do residential. We can do whatever you need. But it took a while to get there, but what got us there, the point I'm trying to make is that it was the love. When we showed all these relationships love genuinely in this business thing, they showed us love back in a business way that helped us grow an empire.
Y'all hear that? That's
just
important.
Be real,
right there.
be organic, be natural. You know 100. What I mean? Be keep it 100.
Yeah.
I feel like the realness that you guys portray is what it actually is. It's not like a false visual.
Thank you.
Or some smoke screen. So it's like, hey, you can get this done. We can't get that done. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that transparency is a lot that people miss. You know what I'm saying? Even just keeping it real.
That's so important, man. I got people to this day that I done stuff for 10 years ago, and they're coming back with new plays for me. Like, just being solid.
Yeah.
That's why I say character is just is dope, man. To have good character, man, is.
But it's really not that hard to be a good person.
It's not hard
bro.
at all. It's not hard at all. People always want these quick wins, and I'm like, just being good and giving away the plug solidly. Like, people come back like 10 years later wanting to do business with me, putting me on big business deals because they know I do social media. And he was like, man, you the first person I thought of. And I'm like, dang, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
You throwing me alley-oops all the way from Texas.
For sure.
Beautiful.
Something that I 10 years ago.
And you can't be afraid to turn away the money. Like, all money ain't good money.
Mm-hmm.
So someone tried, just a month ago, $300K cash. And I'm like, okay, I don't flinch at that. That's what are we doing? Oh, but that individual thought they was going to control the way I do my formula. I told him to take that $300K cash and stick it right up his ass.
Mm-hmm. The rock style. Hang sideways.
What's crazy?
You're ruining pillow.
What I want you to do? I want you to take that 300. Yeah.
but on a note where I could have let emotion. That's when emotion gets into business. When you start to think irrationally, I could have let that become the play. And do whatever to get that 300K. Yeah, it would have been easy to grab it then, but I would have been paying for that a year to 2 years down the road by being controlled in my business.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
No thanks. No, I'm good. But now that same individual is now playing my game. All they want is a P&L statement, and they're ready to rock.
What's P&L?
Profit and loss.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They want a profit and loss statement.
Gotcha.
I'm learning about that myself, bro. You know what I'm
Profit and
saying?
loss.
Yeah, that's a part of the entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? So that's as far as getting your property, as far as getting your one of them ones products. Any business there's P&Ls, man. I'm learning that.
So all you got to do is know what's going out of your business, what's coming into your business as far as income, and then when you calculate all those expenses, what you net is the difference of that, because it may not be profit yet. You may have some other things.
Yeah.
But then after you do all that and you got a little something extra, that's profit. Now, to me, that's a swear word.
Yeah.
Because the more profit you got, the more tax you got.
Put it back in the business.
You put it right back
in there.
Put it right
More
back
merch,
where it came
more
from.
everything.
Here, like the Godfather, put it back in the business.
Put the profit right.
I had to learn the hard way with that, man. I remember I was going out to California. I was flying out there. I would buy bags. Now I'm paying $100 each bag because I'm having big bags to get back on. Even though I'm selling it and making money, I had to factor in everything that I was doing in there. And this is before I had any type of, I didn't document it all, but I'm like, I'm selling all this merch, but I ain't got no money. Like, where's this money going? I'm not blowing it. I'm really focused, but I didn't factor in all the little things that you need,
I mean, you kind of have a similar, to me, it's a similar dynamic as El Plaga, more like you make social media look so easy that people is like, man, he funny, but I can do some shit like that. Nah, bro, you're going to get 4 likes.
It was years and years.
Man, this is
the
real.
formula working on the
You know
formula.
what I'm saying? Just like him, like I told you, you be making this real estate shit and just like mentoring sounds so easy. Bro, everybody feel like they can be the realtor, they can be the seller, they could be the GC, the anything. I'm like, man, and that's a tribute to the hard work you put in. Obviously, you want to make it look easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a jump shot you shoot anywhere, cash,
Yeah.
it look easy.
They
You
don't
go
know
try
about
it.
all them times,
You know,
all
they
that
don't
hard
know.
work you
Yeah.
put in
Yeah.
the gym.
Countless hours of studying, whether it's the real estate stuff, whether it's the tax law, whether it's the putting a jump shot, whether it's the dribbling, whatever it is that you're trying to be better at and be a professional in, is what's going to require the work.
Yeah.
People try to skip the work all the time.
Can't.
That's love.
Even your boy Day, but
You gotta take the steps,
but,
man. That elevator.
figuring it out though.
Yeah, you gotta take them steps.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
And so the what happens once you find that professional that's got your back, they're going to take you on the tour of prosperity. That's what I like to call it when I'm dealing with my clients. It's the tour of prosperity, because no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to prosper, you're going to win. And we make it an adventure. My wife is amazing. I have watched her negotiate $100,000 off of houses before. Just the sheer elegance of how she approaches it. But we're balanced. We're a team, because she knows that I come in. We're kind of like a lion and a lamb. She comes in with that smooth, very pure, soft approach.
Yeah.
Bad, but she'll get you.
Right.
And then I'm there to just enforce it all. At the end of the day, I don't roar. I don't do anything. I just bring it home. And we try to close solid, legitimate deals for individuals so they can not only see themselves in a home, but they can see themselves as part of a legacy. Something that they can do. They can envision their daughter coming down the stairs at prom. They can envision their son coming home with muddy shoes and telling them to put it away in the mud room and hang their jacket up. All their guests coming over and having cocktails out on the back patio. Little things like that matter to people, and you have to think about people and the times that they're going to share and just the human quality. And then the money will come. That's the simple part. You don't have to worry about that. So you help people find a home and you help them envision that. And then it makes your transaction actually move faster too. It doesn't get delayed. A lot of people get delayed because they have the wrong relationship with the wrong professional, and it becomes contentious. And then they're not able to see eye to eye. And then they're just that professional's trying to get a commission. And that individual is just like, I just want this home. I just want the way I see it. No, there's too much clashing, not harmony and flow.
Yeah.
So we pride ourselves in that.
Yep.
Come on, man. Harmony and flow.
Harmony and flow.
Not hustle and flow, harmony and flow. You know what I'm saying?
People always trying to get that quick dollar.
Really though.
People had that resentment towards the house.
Yep.
Be all mad. The process be so hard. You want it to flow.
And how it
That's
flows.
what I'm getting.
I love it. And how it flows is is they have to listen to you. Your professional has to listen to you more than they talk and tell you. You're the professional. You have all the tips and tricks. You don't need to dazzle them. They came to you.
Right.
Listen to them. Learn that they have a dog and they need a spot in the yard for the dog, or they have a hobby where they like to plant tomatoes. So now I need to find a yard and the right type of agricultural soil that will match their aesthetically pleasing points of the home so that they can grow their tomatoes, but it doesn't look like shit because it's got a garden next to the house. See, all these little things you take into account. I really look genuinely into a person's soul to help them find a home to match that beautiful soul.
And that's deep too. That's deep.
Yeah, I mean,
That's just more than money. You know what I mean? That's
For
like
sure.
why we go back to the relationships, you know, when you care about someone's needs and you know, you're paying attention to them, even something as simple as remembering someone's name, like how far that goes. Like
Absolutely.
it's little things, but you know, you're paying attention and that person feels like you really care.
Right.
As you do, you know, and it shows.
And the other
Stuff like that.
we have to manage the relationship too, though, because when we finally find that home, we don't want them to get overly excited, because in a market like this right now, when we were experiencing during this pandemic, people are buying homes above value. So that means there's a lot of competition. So there's a strategic way that we look at things. We try to help them see themselves in a few different options, doing a few different things in a few different ways. And then we leverage the cash that they have with a way to provide them an opportunity that they can potentially be in. And so we don't set the expectation too high. We keep it moderate, reasonable. And then when we set the offer in, because that's what happens next, you make an offer. You put everything in paper, you sign it, all that great stuff, you make an offer. And then the opposing team, if you will, the other people on the other end, the sellers are looking at all these offers. You just make yours appealing in a certain way. And that's a strategy. That's an art. People think you just, I just wrote it down on an offer. We sent it in. No, there's many, many, many variables to that contract, that purchase agreement. And if you do it just right, the right way, it sounds very sexy and appealing to the seller, and it makes you win. We just had 2 wins this month or actually a couple weeks ago for 2 very different types of families, 2 very different styles, but it was the way that we poised it. It wasn't just about the money. It was the way that we poised it. Our offer stood out amongst the others, even the ones who had slightly more cash than we had. Yeah.
Man, wait, what? So
he's saying other people had more money. They was offering more money, but with the way they structured the deal, you know what I mean?
wow.
And that's when it comes down to the little things. We pay attention to those little things. When we go and view the house, I'm not just looking at the perspective of my client, which is the most priority, but I'm also looking at how the seller currently has the position of the home. How long has it been on the market? What are they doing with it right now? And then I take those little tiny variables and I add that into an equation that says, I know how to make you win, because you may want to close fast. Or you may need a month of time because your job just changed and this is why you sold your home. So what if we do this to make it better this way, to make it more accommodating to you as the seller? I ain't giving you no details, but that's what we do.
That's real. I mean, that's just simple communication, though. It's like you've partially mastered being able to communicate effectively, because we all communicate. We all talk. Most motherfuckers talk too much, and not really say nothing at the same time.
Good sales is astonishing listening. That's it. You don't have to say shit. Just listen well and you'll prevail.
I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
You know what I'm saying?
It's coming on t-shirt soon.
Yeah, you know it.
Listen,
you know you're going to do something.
We're going to say,
Link below, man.
plug of one-liners.
Before I lose too much time here, after the purchase agreement is accepted, assuming that it gets accepted, sometimes you have a rebuttal or some type of counter offer. You work through that. Then once you get to that, you finalize everything. Then you have a series of things. You have inspections. Sometimes you want to get the house inspected, make sure you don't take it for granted. You get it inspected properly. Then you do a final walkthrough. At the same time, simultaneously, lending and financing are doing their thing to finish their due diligence on your mortgage. So this is why you can't do no dumb shit like applying for a new credit card in the middle of your house buying process. Do that shit after you close.
Got you.
Put everything on pause,
sense.
y'all. Y'all hear that? Put everything on pause.
Yeah, it's like 30 to 45 days max. 45 days is there's problems, but mainly 30 days is an average. And then by the time you get your new home, you go to do that pre-walkthrough. Always do a pre-walkthrough before you go to closing, because sometimes people leave trash in the yard or whatever accidentally, or sometimes something. You need to make sure that the seller takes care of all that stuff first, then go to closing, because then an hour later, after you're done with closing, there's a bunch of documents that get signed and you're happy. You take pictures, and then you go right back to your new home. Congratulations. You're a homeowner.
Well,
Yep.
that about wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
We don't walked you down the whole home buyer situation, you know, not too in detail, but we gave enough.
Yeah, definitely more than the first one.
Well, and at the end of the day, if you want to get more of this, we got you, because you know how we do. We like to feed you too with that Let's Eat edition of what we do. We take you all the way from the appetizer to a value meal to an entree. And then if you really got what it takes, we take you to the buffet where you can keep getting up from plate to plate. And all those analogies mean we help you through this process to a way that you understand it for you. And when you're ready to play it, we can do it with you too.
And we get that paper.
Come on now. That's how we roll. With that being said, mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. We out.